Good evening, viewers across the world. Tonight we bring you breaking news from the heart of West Africa news that has sent shockwaves across the European Union, the African continent, and global diplomatic circles. Burkina Faso's president, Captain Ibrahim, has officially rejected a $100 million offer from the European Union. Yes, you heard that right. While many leaders might be quick to welcome such a financial deal with open arms, Captain has taken a bold and historic stand. A stand not rooted in fear, but in principles. A stand not driven by desperation, but by dignity. According to inside sources and official government channels, this $100 million offer from the EU came with conditions, hidden clauses, political strings, and an agenda designed to draw Burkina Faso back into the hands of foreign influence, an influence that the people of Burkina Faso have repeatedly and loudly rejected. Captain, a military leader turned reformist, made it clear in his address. Burkina Faso is not for sale. We are not beggars. We are builders of a sovereign future. Our dignity is worth more than any check signed abroad. This is not the first time the young captain has gone against the grain. In fact, since taking power, he has refused to bow to international pressure, rejected foreign military bases, nationalized critical resources, and called for unity among West African nations. But today's announcement takes that resistance to a new level, rejecting a $100 million bait meant to exploit, not empower. To fully understand the magnitude of this decision, let's put it into context. In a country where infrastructure needs upgrading, healthcare needs expansion, and education needs investment, $100 million is no small figure. But Captain's leadership is about more than just money. It's about self-reliance, about creating a Burkina Faso that is not dependent on aid that comes with colonial undertones. The rejected EU proposal reportedly included demands for access to strategic sectors including mining, agriculture, and policy advisors within key ministries, a familiar pattern where foreign powers offer aid in one hand and take control with the other. But this time, things are different. The people of Burkina Faso have rallied behind their leader. Social media platforms have exploded with hashtags like and hashtag Burkina First. Citizens are celebrating not the loss of money, but the preservation of integrity. Regional allies, particularly Mali and Niger, have also voiced their support, calling the move a model for how African leaders should respond to neo-colonial pressure. One Malian official was quoted saying, "This is not just a victory, it is a victory for African pride." Let this moment serve as a clear message to the rest of the world. Burkina Faso, under Captain Ibrahim, is carving a new path, one that places sovereignty above aid, dignity above dependency, and people above profits. The rejection of the EU's offer isn't about politics alone. It is a powerful declaration that Burkina Faso will no longer be dictated to. It will rise or fall by the will of its own people, not the whims of foreign interest. And in a time when many nations are still tangled in post-colonial chains, this act of defiance could inspire others across the continent to stand up, speak out, and say enough is enough. Captain Ibrahim is not just leading a country, he's shaping a movement. A new generation of African leadership is on the rise and the world is watching. Stay with us for continuing coverage on this developing story. This is more than a rejection. This is the roar of a nation reclaiming its voice. Reporting live, this is your news presenter. Burkina Faso is no longer on its knees, it's on its feet.
Welcome to Talk of Africa 360, your source for insightful news, analysis, and thoughtful commentary. If you value informed perspectives and fact-based reporting, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is based on reliable public sources and credible online information. It is intended strictly for educational and analytical purposes. We do not promote or endorse political violence, hate speech, or any form of discrimination. Our goal is to inform, not to inflame. Thanks for being here. Let's stay informed together.
In a surprising turn of events, Burkina Faso's new military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore, has rejected a $100 million aid package from the European Union, an offer that came with strings attached. The money was intended to help Burkina Faso stabilize its economy, but it also came with the expectation that Traore would lead the country back to democracy. In an increasingly multipolar world, countries are starting to push back against the conditions that often come with aid packages and are looking for alternative sources of funding. Whether or not this trend will continue remains to be seen. The offer, which was made during a meeting between EU officials and Burkina Faso's transitional government, was contingent on the military junta's commitment to a peaceful transition of power. Firstly, It highlights the growing frustration among African countries towards what they perceive as Western attempts to meddle in their internal affairs. Burkina Faso is located in the heart of West Africa and has been plagued by security challenges in recent years, including a growing Islamist insurgency. The country has also experienced a number of coups, reflecting deep-rooted dissatisfaction with political corruption and instability. Secondly, it reflects a broader trend towards multipolarity, with African countries increasingly seeking to forge closer ties with countries outside the traditional Western sphere of influence. True to his word, he wasted no time in charting his own path, reaching out to Russia. Despite the rejection, the EU remains committed to supporting Burkina Faso, although it has stopped short of providing financial assistance. And Belarus for support and rebuffing Western attempts to pressure him into restoring constitutional rule. Instead, the EU has pledged to focus on humanitarian aid and support for civil society in an effort to address the root causes of the crisis. Critics argue that by withholding financial assistance, the EU is attempting to control the country's internal affairs and prevent it from pursuing its own national interests. And continuity in a country that has experienced so much upheaval in recent years. While the EU may be willing to provide aid without strings attached, it remains to be seen whether this will be enough to address the deep-rooted problems facing Burkina Faso and whether Traore will be able to deliver on his promises of stability and prosperity. And thirdly, it raises questions about the future of foreign aid and the conditions that often come with it. However, Traore, who seized power in a coup last September, has made it clear that he is not interested in the EU's money if it comes with such conditions. He has accused the EU of neo-colonialism and of trying to control Burkina Faso's affairs and has vowed to chart his own path forward. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video to stay updated with our latest content. And uranium, making it an attractive target for foreign investors and a potential hub for economic activity. And the United States in an effort to counter the growing threat of Islamist militancy in the region. However, the security situation has continued to deteriorate and public trust in Western powers has waned, leading some to question the effectiveness of this approach. However, much of the population lives in poverty and the country faces significant development challenges, including high levels of inequality and limited access to basic services such as healthcare and education. However, one thing is for sure, Traore's decision to stand up to the EU is a bold and risky move that could have far-reaching consequences. Traore, however, has made it clear that he is not interested in the EU's money if it comes with such conditions. He is willing to face sanctions from the EU and other international partners as he focuses on rebuilding his country and improving the lives of his people. This rejection is not only a blow to the EU's influence in the region, but it also raises questions about the future of foreign aid. Despite the risks, Traore has made it clear that he is not backing down. He is committed to putting the interests of Burkina Faso first and is willing to make sacrifices in order to do so. The situation is still ongoing, and it remains to be seen how the EU and other international partners will respond to Traore's rejection. However, one thing is clear, this is a pivotal moment for Burkina Faso and for the future of foreign aid. Burkina Faso's new military leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore, has rejected a $100 million aid package from the European Union, a decision that has sent shockwaves throughout the region. Traore's rejection of the aid package is a significant development for several reasons. The situation in Burkina Faso is particularly delicate considering the country's history of instability and its strategic importance in the region. Despite these challenges, the country is rich in natural resources, including gold, silver. In recent years, Burkina Faso has sought to strengthen its ties with Western partners, including France, its former colonial ruler. Enter Captain Ibrahim Traore, a charismatic and popular figure who seized power in a coup last September amid widespread public anger over the government's inability to contain the security crisis. His rejection of the EU aid package is the latest example of this defiant stance, signaling a clear break with the country's former colonial masters and a willingness to look elsewhere for support. The EU's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, stated that the Union would continue to work with Burkina Faso's transitional authorities, but stressed that this would not involve budget support. However, This position has been criticized by some as a way for the EU to exert undue influence over Burkina Faso and undermine Traore's authority. Nevertheless, the EU's commitment to working with the transitional authorities is likely to be welcomed by some as a sign of stability. What do you think about this move? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. As the situation continues to develop, we will keep you updated with the latest developments. Stay tuned for more updates. Thank you for watching.
As reactions continue to pour in from across the continent, one thing is clear. Africa is demanding respect, sovereignty, and accountability. Was this just a diplomatic misstep or a deeper sign of shifting global alliances? We'll be watching closely. If you found this story important, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, unfiltered African news. This is Talk of Africa 360, telling the stories that matter.